They're gonna tell you things you want to hear, but it's, a whole different ballpark when you're listening to somebody give their actual perspective. I didn't know that universities were making students pay for laundry. I think that's ghetto. We have to pay a lot more in order for Stetson to operate. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, this week's video is going to be about the truth about Stetson University. That was so dramatic, oh my god. This video is going to be basically about all the things that I feel like people need to know before they enroll at Stetson, before they actually move on campus. For those of you who don't know my situation, I'm a junior at Stetson University. I'm a theater arts major and I'm also minoring in education. I think there's a lot to be said about Stetson from an actual student. I think that if you go online to like any university, they're going to tell you things you want to hear, but it's, a whole different ballpark when you're listening to somebody give their actual perspective. Before we get on to the video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below what videos you want to see next, turn on post notifications so that you see whenever I do post, and follow me on social media. Links will be in the description box down below. That's it for now, guys, so let's just get on to the video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is tuition. Now, Stetson is a private institution, which means that they don't get state funding, which means they have to increase the tuition. A lot of schools like UCF or USF, those big state schools, they can offer a lot in tuition. I think UCF's tuition is about $68,000 for in-state students, and that's because they get state funding, so they don't really have to rely on student tuition in order to operate. Stetson is private, which means, like I said, they don't get state funding, which means we have to pay a lot more in order for Stetson to operate. I will say that though we pay more in tuition, we kind of get more out of our tuition. For incoming students and even for continuing students, I will say though, I would not be here had I not been active on campus, and I'll explain what I mean. Because tuition is so high, there were some times last year that I didn't think I was going to be able to stay in school because I just couldn't afford it. And then sometimes Stetson would literally pay off my debt so that I can continue to go to school. And at one point I was like, why would they do that? Is it just luck? Like, am I just lucky? Like, why would this university agree to essentially let me have a free semester? It's because I do so much for them. I work for marketing, I'm in a fraternity, I'm a cheerleader, I'm a residential assistant. Like, I do so many things for Stetson, so that was the school's way of essentially like paying me back. This isn't like set in stone, this isn't really like a definite thing, but I will say if you want a better chance at Stetson being able to help you out more, get active on campus and actually start like, getting positions in different organizations and putting yourself out there, because whether you think so or not, Stetson sees that and they will help you out if they see that you're being very active on campus. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is housing. Now, housing is a very complex thing. There's freshman dorms, there's pet-friendly dorms, there's, junior, senior dorms, there's on-campus apartments, and they all range in different prices. Obviously, the freshman dorms, you're going to pay the cheapest amount, and then the on-campus apartments, you're going to pay the largest amount. Me personally, I don't pay tuition because I'm a residential assistant, but for the dorm that I live in specifically, and you all have seen this dorm before, this dorm in particular is University Hall. This is the pet-friendly dorm, and I think University is about $3,800. You can live here as a freshman. The dorm I lived in at the beginning of the semester was Emily Hall, and that's I think about $4,000 because I lived by myself. Some people have asked me how do they get their own room, and there's different ways. It kind of just depends on where you go. For Emily, I lived in the Quiet Hours Hall. That hall was reserved for students who had like, migraine issues or who really wanted to study in a quiet space. You have to kind of like ask for that. All housing on campus comes with laundry, free laundry, which is great. I didn't know that universities were making students pay for laundry. I think that's ghetto. You obviously need to buy your own laundry supplies. They do sell them in the bookstore, but you'll be better off like going to Walmart. It's like down the street. And it'll be a lot cheaper. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the meal plan, and the meal plan is another complex thing. I'll put all the information links down below so you can actually have access to accurate information. Meal plans range from low to high. Your freshman year, they require you to choose 2 different options. You can either choose the 15 meals a week plus 75 Hatterbucks. Hatterbucks is basically what I like to call fake Stetson money. It is money that you can only use for Stetson things. You can't use it for books, you can't use it for apparel, you can only use it for food. Freshman year, I remember trying to buy a textbook with Hatterbucks, and they were like, you can't do that, but they never told me why. There are also 2 restaurants off campus that you can use them at, which is Domino's and Jimmy John's. Those 2 restaurants are the only 2 off-campus restaurants that accept Hatterbucks. In terms of on-campus restaurants, there's Einstein's, there's BYOB, which stands for Bring Your Own Burrito. It's kind of like a off-brand Chipotle. And then there's the coffee shop as well as the Commons. Back to the meal swipes, the freshman year options are going to be the most expensive because Stetson wants to get your money early. As you do your time at Stetson, you can start getting more options for meal plans. Me personally, I have block meal plans, which means I get 150 meals for the entire semester. I also get $250 worth of Hatterbucks. Basically, the less meal swipes you have in your meal plan, the more Hatterbucks you get, and then the more meal swipes you have, the less Hatterbucks you get. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is academics. What we all go to college for. Stetson is a liberal arts college. There's a lot of different majors and minors that you can choose from here. And the good thing about Stetson is that Stetson's a very small school. That means you can actually have a good relationship with your professor and your advisors and faculty and staff because there's less of us to keep track of. These big state schools where there's like 60,000 people, it's hard for professors to really know their students because there's like 300 students in one class. Whereas here, the biggest number of students in a class that I've had has been like 30 people. One of the classes I actually take here is 5 people. Another pro to this is because your professors know you so well, they're going to keep you on track. Sometimes it can get annoying because they'll be like, why aren't you in class? Like, you need to be in class. But in the long run, it will help you because they genuinely want each of you to succeed. And then because they know you so well, they'll also be willing to work with you a lot more. Another thing I want to talk about academic wise, Stetson is rigorous. It doesn't matter what major you have, it's rigorous. The work that we do is hard and it can get stressful. And I'm not trying to be like, you're gonna fail, but I mean like you really need to do everything you can to stay academically stable. The work that private school students do versus public school students differs drastically. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is amenities. Because our tuition is so inflated, obviously Stetson needed to give us something. We have our Hollis Center, which is the gym. That comes with 2 different like gyms inside of it. There's also multiple dance rooms, there's yoga rooms, there's karate, there's a pool. There's also what we call intramural sports, which is sports that aren't necessarily NCAA regulated, but like there's teams that you can join. There's also so many clubs on campus. There's over 150. So there's always something to do. The biggest amenity that I will recommend that people don't usually go to is counseling services. Counseling services is literally free therapy on campus that you have for 4 years. And the biggest regret that I have is not utilizing it sooner. This was the first semester that I actually went to counseling regularly. With college being so hard, you're going to need it. Even if you don't feel like you need it, it's always nice to just have somebody to talk to, and you can do it virtually, you can do it in person. Definitely utilize that. Like, that's one of the best amenities that Stetson has, and I feel like that's what separates them from other universities, because I don't hear a lot of universities having like free therapy for their students. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is Stetson's social atmosphere, which is something that I feel like people want to know about the most. Stetson, like I said, is a small school. It's what I'd like to call high school 2.0. Because it's such a small school, word gets around fast. Everyone knows everybody, essentially. Not literally, but like for the most part. Sometimes drama that you have nothing to do with, you will know about because we're just that small of a school. Sometimes it's entertaining, but most of the time it's just like, come on, like we're in college, you know? Just because we are a small school, it does not mean you don't have to put in effort to like make friendships. You can't sit in your dorm for 4 years and expect to like find meaningful relationships and friendships. You have to be a part of the community in order to like have friends, essentially. That was a hard thing that I had to learn. When I first got here, I didn't sit in my dorm or anything, but like I did realize that making friends here is not as easy as it was in high school. You have to put in the effort to make yourself known and to make yourself like social. Another thing people always want to know about the parties. The parties are fun. Yes, alcohol is a thing, the red Solo cups and all. Like you can still get your fantasy college experience at a small university. There's just like slight differences. Well guys, that is everything I have for my little spiel. I will say I do enjoy making these videos, especially like videos about Stetson. A lot of times you guys will come up to me like literally on campus and be like, oh, I watch your videos, and one person literally even said that they chose Stetson because of my videos. It puts a smile on my face, you know, like the fact that I can help you guys like have a greater college experience. Like I love that. When I first got to Stetson, there was not a lot of videos about Stetson, at least not the student perspective. There was maybe like 1 or 2 that I could find, but in terms of like what the dorms look like, like and like how people actually live here. I didn't know what to expect when I got here. Even now, there's not many Stetson YouTubers. There's a few, including myself. I will say that there's a lot more information that you can find about student perspective than there was when I first came here. So the fact that I can be a part of that is amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below what videos you want to see next, turn on post notifications so that you see whenever I do post, and follow me on social media. Links will be in the description box down below. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. Till next time, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.
My last name fits you better when I'm